If that which makes us human isn't exclusive to humans, does that make us less human? Does it make non-humans more human? I guess what I'm getting at is, what is the complicated nature of humanity? If a non-human can be as human or more human than a human, then does that mean that a human can become or be born non-human, or become less and less human over the course of their life until they're something else? And what is that something else? What does it mean to be a human or not? This is MJ. I love Tokusatsu, and right now I want to talk to you, or at you really, about Kamen Rider Zero-One Episode 6. So, a lot happened in Episode 6. I want to mention Yaiba Yua and her new transformation. I'm afraid she's going to be overlooked a little bit, though, because some of the meatier, juicier things that I want to discuss about the nature of humanity are not directly involved with her. She has a new power-up. It's Lightning Hornet that she gets. I like the form a lot. But interestingly, she does not get much screen time. Lightning Hornet Lightning Hornet definitely gets more screen time than Yaiba Yua. That is to say, the suit actress, I'm assuming it's a woman, probably had to do more work in this episode than the suit actor. Now, of course, she had to show up for ADR, but I think she barely spoke in the suit. Maybe 2 lines I can think of, a grunt or 2, but she's a very quiet, very methodical fighter who doesn't really make much noise. She's not like Fuo, where she's hot-blooded and making threats or taunting his enemies, and she's not like Aruto, who is spastic and passionate and kind of jumping all over the place, saying things as he's fighting. So that makes her pretty different. But I kind of just wanted to highlight the fact that she has, this new suit, this new power-up, and that other than that, she isn't involved much, but she is reflective of one aspect of the question about humanity that I raised. I think I'll wrap everything up by talking about that at the end. But I do want to mention that Lightning Hornet is really cool looking. I like the look of it overall. I love all the hexagons. The fact that, she's a hornet. Very cool that she has these wings that pop out is pretty exciting to me. And I like that she and the frog both have the ability to shoot out miniature versions of themselves to, as giant bullets or missiles, whatever, to attack their enemies. That was pretty cool. Speaking of frogs, the Humagear this episode, I only got one good shot of it, is some sort of toad, and I thought it looked pretty cool. The big capsule head hood type thing on it is really neat. The basic body's the same, and I really do like this design aesthetic that they're going with to make the Humagear basically just, souped up, there's just one special thing about them that differentiates them, and that's pretty neat. So I finally learned Horobi and Jiro's names. So Horobi is allegedly a human who created Jin, sorry, not Jiro, who created Jin to help him destroy humans, I guess. And in the beginning, or was it the beginning of this episode or the end of the last episode, he tells Jin that he's his son, and that starts to change the relationship between the two of them, and it makes Jin act differently than you would expect. And that's something I will get back to after talking about Jin's new form, new suit. So Horobi puts this belt that he has used onto Jin, and he has him use the Progrise key, the Falcon that he stole from Zero-One, in it, and he transforms into this really great looking pink, I guess that's because the Falcon rider suit, and it has all these armor elements that are gray, and some of them are textured, some of them aren't. But my favorite thing about this suit is that when he opens it, it's not authorized, it's not progrise, it's force rise. And Apparently the belt forces the progress keys open, but then on top of that, he has all these straps all over him, basically, that are strapping the armor, that are forcing the armor pieces to tie onto his body to create this suit. So there is a great element of visual storytelling where the Force Rise style of suit, or whatever that belt is, like, it's going contrary to nature or the intention of the progress keys, and that technology developed by Hedon, but not only by Hedon, by this other party as well, by, Ames, I guess you could just say. But that's really fascinating to me. I just love the visual storytelling in the suit. The pink, the gray, it looks fabulous, and I'm really enjoying that. So getting back to the human versus non-human thing, and, the AI humanity, something I basically, believe in or am okay with. We have this CNA who's a voice actor, or Seiyu, for the weebs among us, and her father, or her owner/father, Mr. Tezawa, had a daughter who was a voice actress, and she died 3 years previous to him getting this android duplicate, basically, and he has decided to live with her as his daughter and get her a job as a voice actress. And I think he says he recently found out about Hedon, I guess, and their androids and stuff, which seems strange because it seems like a huge company, especially if they were able to be responsible for the explosion in Daybreak Town 12 years ago. But anyway, he's an old guy. He might be out of the loop, which is fine. But anyway, it seems to me like he bought her and programmed her shortly before his birthday as kind of like a gift to himself. Like, I could see him want to, treat himself sort of like, hey, I miss my daughter, and it's almost my birthday, and it'd be wonderful to have her with me for one last birthday. And anyway, the whole story with them was really touching, and I love how dramatically it contrasted with Horobi and Jin, because Horobi basically tells Jin, hey, you're my child, you're supposed to do what I tell you to do, and you're old enough, you're strong enough, basically, that you don't need my protection, and yeah, we have a different sort of family dynamic, and that's not who we are. And this really gets to Jin, and when he sees Mr. Tezawa again and again protecting Sienna, he kind of loses it. He has to be given that belt and taken over, have a download, before he fully commits to fulfilling his father's will. And it's really interesting to me. And another thing that strikes me as interesting is that Sienna seems to have the memories of the actual daughter, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that makes sense for that to be the case, especially if he just found out about Hedon and he just recently bought her. So I don't know if maybe I don't know. That stuff doesn't make sense to me. And the most striking thing to me is that Jin has this quasi-heroic turn where he wants her to be saved because he's touched by how this father is trying to protect his daughter. And that was really impressive. And it made me kind of question, the whole humanity thing versus the androids and stuff, especially because we have Yaiba Yua, who acts so coldly and efficiently. The way she moves in her suit, it's very stilted and rigid and extremely efficient. She almost feels like a machine. And she's supposedly the one developing this technology, but then this guy with the little robot toy on his desk gives her the Thunder Hornet or whatever it's called, and says, I made this especially for you and I want you to test it out. And like I said earlier, she barely got any coverage in this episode, so I hope we get to see more of her. But I almost wonder, could she possibly be a Humagear, or is that just the writer, who apparently is the writer of X-Aid, which is cool? Yuya Takahashi, I believe. Is that just him flexing his muscles and really showing nuance in how characters are characterized, and how nuanced the whole human versus non-human debate sort of can be? I don't really know what it all means, but I think I like it, And some people were saying at the beginning, oh, Valkyrie, she's going to get killed right away. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm hoping that the Reiwa era carries something different, and just as Takahashi seems to be putting nuance into how he's addressing this whole issue of the Humagear being people, actual people, and, you know, people getting to be monsters, even as, you know, Magyar are manipulated Humagear who are forced into being monsters, so to speak, and, you know, sometimes can't be saved, sometimes can be, which that whole thing needs to be ironed out. I really hope that he's getting to do some nasty things with this Yaiba character. Like, I don't know, is Toei really this gross misogynistic group who wants to see female characters mistreated? I don't think so. I just think their eyes haven't been open, and hopefully Takahashi, after X-Aid, which had all these great spin-offs or, you know, continuations of the story, will convince them to let him do his thing and be a great writer. Anyway, check out mjmunoz.com for more of my work. I'm currently reviewing Spider-Man comics and writing original fiction you can find there. I'm an aspiring author who will gladly accept your financial support through coffee. MJ Loves Toku can be found on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and mjmunoz.com/MJLT. Relevant links are in the show notes. If you had a good time, like and share this. Subscribe and ring that bell to keep up with the latest in my quest to watch all Toku. Also, if you like this show and Ishinomori and Ishizumi, I made a little sticker on Redbubble of Ishizumi Productions, which is an homage to Ishimori Productions. It's related to the manga from last episode. And eagle-eyed viewers would catch that the anime that CNA was trying out for to ESAU is the same anime based on the manga made by Mr. Ishizumi from the previous episode. So that's all pretty cool stuff. That's all I have to say for now. Remember, folks, you don't have to shout henshin to be a hero.